I'd like to welcome you all to the 769th meeting of Medley Toastmasters Club. Before we begin the meeting, I would like to mention 3 ground rules which we as Toastmasters follow. Firstly, as Toastmasters, we do not talk about sex, religion or politics. So please refrain from discussing these topics. Secondly, please switch off your mobile phones or put them on silent mode. And thirdly, please do not cross-talk. Now, before I hand over the stage to the presiding officer, I would like to speak a few words about her. She is an anesthetist at Adyar Cancer Institute. She is the current president of Medley Toastmasters Club, and she likes to do things systematically. With this, I would like to hand over the stage to Toastmaster Prasanna Mani.
Thank you, Toastmaster Prabhu. A very good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon.
With this imaginary gable, I declare meeting number 769 open. A very warm welcome to our area director, Toastmaster Saravadan. We also welcome our past president of Medley, distinguished Toastmaster Sundararaman, and our past president and past district PR manager, distinguished Toastmaster Thomas T. Abraham. A warm welcome to all the guests who have joined us today. Could you please have a brief introduction from you? Dimple, please.
Good afternoon, all of you. My name is Dimple. I have been an ex-Toastmaster for a year in 2013. Took a long break, wanted to come back. That itself took another 2 years, but I'm glad I'm here again. So come here with my friend Shweta, so we could join and each of us will push each other and not miss the sessions. Otherwise, I stay in Neelamtare and I am a woman.
What do you do, Dimple?
I am a learning and development lead in Philips.
Nice. Nice having you here. Shweta, could you please introduce yourself?
Good afternoon everyone, I'm Shweta. This is my first ever experience coming in Toastmasters Club. I just heard about it, so wanted to be part of this and enhance my skills. And I'm a chartered accountant by profession. I'm running my own company and I take care of the finance of it.
Nice having you here, Shweta. We have a good number of chartered accountants at Medley. Not today, but we have at least 5 or 6 here. Yes, Tushar, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, good afternoon everyone. My name is Tushar. I have been member of Medley Toastmasters when we were meeting in Gandhinagar Club. I know Thomas sir and Sundaraman sir. For a time being I was abroad. I am back here permanently. So you will see my face again and again. Thank you.
It's nice having you back here with us. The other guests who have joined us, could you please introduce yourself from where you are?
So I am Samrata. I become graduate last year. So right now I'm doing the CMA. So this is the first time I'm coming.
Nice having you.
Hi guys, my name is Sujit. I'm from Mayapur. I recently graduated BCom CS and that's all.
Nice having you here. It's nice to see friends coming together. So, have you ever wondered what is the secret of success? All of us have wondered it at some point. There was once a king who had the same question and suddenly realized if he could find the answer to 3 questions, that will give him the secret to success. What are those 3 questions? What is the right time to do anything? Who is the most important person? And what is the right thing to do? So he announced it to the kingdom, telling me handsomely reward anyone who could give him the answers. So many people came to his palace with various answers. He said the right time to do anything is when the stars come together, when the moon comes like this, when the sun comes like this. And then they said the right person to do anything, or the most important person. Some said scholars, some said saints, some even said doctors, some said military people. And when it came to the right thing to do, some said invest in knowledge, some said invest in wealth, some said invest in warfare. If it was a current time, they would also say social media, but then it was not this. So he was very confused. He got various type of answers, and he said, "Okay, this is not the right thing." And someone suggested him, there is a sage in the forest who doesn't come out of forest. You have to go meet him there to get your answers. So the king went to meet that sage and saw the sage digging a pit with a spade. So the king offered to help him, and he was digging the pit. After a while, the sage said, "Can I do it for take over?" The king said, "No, it's okay, I'll do it." And he went on digging the pit till the sunset. And then he saw a man coming out of the woods, bleeding from his abdomen. So the king immediately went and attended to him, bandaged him, nursed him, and he survived. When it became almost night, the king asked the sage, "Won't you tell me what is the answer to all these 3 questions?" The sage said, "You've already been answered." The king was puzzled. What is the answer? The sage said, "The most important time is the present time. Whatever you do in the present time is the most important time. And the most important person is the person you are with at that particular time. And the most important thing to do is to do the things for the good of others." This is a story adapted from Leo Tolstoy's one of the short stories. The reason why I am sharing here now is because of the message it holds. For us to reach success, we should not keep waiting for the right time. The present time is always the right time to do the most important thing. And whenever we interact with someone, be it at work or personal life, when we think of that person as the most important person, then our relationships get stronger. And the most important thing to do is to do things which add value. It was with this thought that Professor Ralph C. Medley founded Toastmasters almost a century back. He had this benevolent thought to empower people with public speaking and leadership skills through a non-profitable organization, which has now grown into a worldwide network of clubs. We will now see how the Toastmasters program happens as we go through the meeting today. To take us through this meeting forward, we have our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Dinakaran. Toastmaster Dinakaran is a delivery manager at TCS, and he's an avid movie buff, which you could see from the theme. He's also a great fan of Rajinikanth movies. Let us now hand over the stage to Toastmaster Dinakaran.
Good afternoon, dear Toastmasters and guests.
Good afternoon.
How are you all doing? Are you ready to get into the movie magic?
Yes.
Okay, before we move on, how many of you here who don't like movies, who don't like watching movies, for some reason you hate it? I know because most of us, all of us like movies, but it's just that if someone, for any reason, no interest in movies. Okay, so all of us like movies. So let's all get ready for today's theme. Movie magic. Okay, so I am kind of I was born and brought up in a village where for me the most of the time the entertainment or the outlet is that weekend there is a theatre in my village, the Ayambalayam Allegation Theatre, but every week they change movies. It's not like these days where we get to see all the new movies at all time. But we'll get some movies maybe a year old or 2 years old. That would be like a big entertainment for us. Like from my family, like my grandmother and then my aunt and myself, every Saturday afternoon, finish lunch and go to the theatre and sit and watch whatever the movie that they play. So that is how I've grown up. So, but till date, I have not lost the interest or the fun that I have for movies. So with that introduction, we get started. Yeah, so this is kind of a magic that I see with movies. Right? So you would see some people, some movies, and all those. This is something that I am aware of, which I got inspired or got to know the details about movies. Anybody would like to talk about in any of these pictures or images here? I mean, you're able to see. Thanks.
about the recent Vijay coming into politics.
Yeah.
and stuff.
So that is the latest development, which is something like because of movie that is happening. That's what I believe. So he got famous and now he's getting into politics. Most of you might be aware. That is the latest development because of the influence that movie creates in the society. So, Sudharaman sir, you would like to comment on anything, any image here?
We got at least 3 or 4 chief ministers who have come from movie world.
Yeah.
Starting from MGR, Janaki, Jayalalitha, Karunanidhi.
So chief ministers of the state coming from
Movie world.
movie because of the movie background, because of what they have done in movies. Not just the chief minister, right? We look at the first image, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was in a different state of life, but he became governor for one of the critical important state in US, California. Again, if you look at it, there are multiple dimensions here. Movie, the medium, not just the visual medium, right? We have dialogues, we have songs, so it works in multiple layers. If we look at the next image, right? Rahman. He was a small boy here in Chennai, but end of the day, today he is an Oscar winner for India, the first timer, the only person who won Oscar from India for music. I think he won 2 Oscars. So he went from Chennai stage to the world stage, speaking in Tamil in the stage. That is because the movies it happened, right? Because of the movie, the medium it happened. And then the other dimension is next is Kalaignar. We all know, right? But again, he became famous because of the dialogues he delivered in movies. So movies just not a visual, right? Songs and dialogues, multiple dimensions into it, which could inspire all of us, which would also help in developing skills in different ways. Okay. Sean Connery, we all know, there is the Super Size Me, right? This is one movie. I'm not sure anybody has heard of this movie. Would you like to talk?
I think it's about a person who was extremely obese and he later lost weight through some program and then they made a movie about his life.
Yeah, it's somewhat correct. Basically, the guy, he ate only McDonald's food, fast food for 1 month. Nothing else, only fast food from McDonald's for a month. Then after a month, he got tested, and his liver became a fatty liver, he got a lot of cholesterol issue, and he gained so much of weight. And that brought in awareness in terms of the fast food, and then after that, McDonald's, they tried to reduce their size, they wanted to move towards the healthy food, healthy meals and healthy food. This is impact that it creates in the society. If you look at other images, right, day after tomorrow, it created an awareness about the global warming. After that, a lot of laws and other things have changed and a lot of things happened. So there are a lot of things, a lot of items to talk about where movie impacted the society and how movie is influencing the society. So we will continue to talk about during the day.
நம்ம படத்தோட முக்கியமான காட்சி மிச்சம் இருக்கு.
Okay, I will come back to this. I think I already have a record, so today time is very important. So today's meeting will have 4 sections. One is the educational session in terms of preparing, getting ready for the international speech contest. And as a regular meeting, we'll have prepared speeches followed by the educational session, and we will have a TD session and then the evaluation session. So that is the structure for today's meeting. So I'll take now time to introduce our GE Toastmaster Amritavalli. She's actually a software quality consultant, has masters in computer applications. She was there in US and recently now got into India, and then he's now doing a HR role in one of the organizations. Most probably over to you to introduce the evaluation session. Before getting started, what about any movie magic that you have? You can want to talk about.
I think when I was growing up, I was a big fan of Balachandar movies. So I have watched all of Balachandar's movies, and I took the trouble to go find the videos and then watch it at that time. And one of my favorite movies was Unnan Mudiyum Thambi, because of the music as well as the beautiful message and good acting. Good afternoon, everybody. Evaluation and feedback is a crucial part of any learning process. So it is at Toastmasters also. I will be the general evaluator for today's meeting. The purpose of the general evaluator is to evaluate everything that takes place throughout the meeting. During the meeting, I will take notes on everything that happens and also things that don't happen. I will evaluate each participant on the meeting program and look for examples of good preparation, organization, delivery, enthusiasm, observation, and performance of duties. At the end of the meeting, I'll be giving my report. For the evaluation of this today's meeting, I have two teams that's going to help me. The first is the tag team, the timer, counter, and the grammarian. And then we have the evaluation team who will be evaluating the individual speakers. So let me introduce the tag team at first. For timer, she is a dentist with a private practice for more than 20 years. She is also a head of the Department of Oral Medicine and Radiology with teaching experience for the last 17 years. She says that Toastmasters helped her to be a better version of herself as a teacher and as a leader. And her favorite movie is a Malayalam movie named Nehru. It's a courtroom drama, it's a new movie. She is Dr. Pravda and she will be our timer for today.
Thank you, Julie. A very good evening to fellow Toastmasters and guests. Time management is an inevitable skill that you need to develop in order to attain your goal. And Toastmaster is one best platform to learn this time management. You all would have seen that today's meeting is meticulously timed to start at 2:55 and end at 5:15 p.m. As the timer of the day, it is my duty to time each role players of today's meeting and alert them whenever they exceed their timer. Today's educational session is for 30 minutes. I will be showing my green card at 25 minutes, yellow card at 28 minutes, and red card at 30 minutes. For prepared speech section, the icebreaker speech is for 4 to 6 minutes. I will be showing my green card at 4 minutes, yellow card at 5 minutes, and red card at 6 minutes. The other prepared speeches are for 5 to 7 minutes. I will be showing my green card at 5 minutes, yellow card at 6 minutes, and red card at 7 minutes. Table topic speeches are for 1 to 2 minutes. I will be showing green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red card at 2 minutes. The evaluation section is for 2 to 3 minutes. I will show the green card at 2 minutes, yellow card at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and red card at 3 minutes. There will be a grace period of 30 minutes for all these speakers, 30 seconds for all these speakers to be there to complete and get themselves be the best speaker of the day. And I will give my detailed report towards the end of the meeting. Over to G.
Thank you, Dr. Prada. The next person I want to introduce is a multidisciplinary researcher in biology. He loves to take long walks while listening to motivational audiobooks. I love that too. He's a positive person with a never give up attitude. When it comes to movies, he's a big fan of the Singham series, packed with action. The Singham series movies were remade in Hindi, Kannada, Punjabi, and Bengali. That shows the immense popularity of this series. And it was followed by 2 successful sequels too. Today's our counter is Toastmaster Shanmugave. Please welcome.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmaster and dear guests.
As an accountant, I will note the sound and words which are used as a crutch or pass pillar by each speaker. And I will also listen during the meeting the overused words, filler sound, as well as the repeated words. A quote says, a bad attitude is like a flat tire. You have to change that one to have a smooth run. Like that, if you see a vehicle with inflated tires, we cannot go for the smooth journey. If you want to have a smooth journey, you have to fill the tires with proper air pressure. Like that, to have a perfect speech, we should avoid the overused words such as and, but, so, we, the words like you know. And if you see the filler words such as and it, that's why I am accounted here today. Then the repeated overused words and repeated words such as I, and the words like that, this means also should be noted. At the end of the meeting, I will submit the report, how many times each speaker used the above mentioned expression. Thank you very much, General. All are engaged to avoid or minimize this above mentioned expression.
Thank you so much, Nurul. She is working as a manager with Coronas Ajuba. Her all-time favorite movie is director Mani Ratnam's super hit, Mauna Ragam, released in 1986. She feels that even though there are many good movies, no other movie can replace the special place this movie has in her heart. She is Toastmaster Kalyani, our grammarian for the day.
English is the only language where you can park in driveways and drive in parkways. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Today I am a grammarian and I will watch keenly all the speakers and note any unused words, wrong words or sentences, and also I will make note of good words, thoughts, quotes. As a grammarian, it is my duty to introduce the word of the day, which is provoke, which means generate, inspire, excite. Example sentences, they would sing, dance at social occasions to provoke distinguished guests. The internet poses several potential challenges to the regime that provoke a reactive state response. I will report my grammarian report at the end of the meeting.
I will hand over the meeting to Toastmaster of the day to conduct the rest of the session.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anita. I will start with our regular session for the day. So we are starting today with our, as I said, the educational session. For that, we have DTM Partha with us to conduct the education session. DTM Partha is Toastmaster since 2006. And he served as area governor, division governor, and club group director in all the different roles at district level. And he was also the division level contestant in all 4 contest formats. He handled all levels of contest in the district as chief judge. He is actually the charter member of DXT Chennai chapter Toastmasters Club. He is also a certified project management professional with the DXT technology. I request DTM Partha here to. So today's theme is movie magic. I also came to know that your favorite movie in the recent time is Coco. Can you talk about
Okay, Coco is an animation movie. If you have not watched it, do watch it. The reason why I liked it, it had all elements of a regular movie: the suspense, music, plus it had entertainment for everybody. So I felt it was a complete package, even for adults. That's why I loved Coco, and in fact, it helped me connect with the logic. Normally, I like to look at movies with logic, even though it can be exaggerated, but I like to have them connected logic. So I felt that was very well connected. So that's why I like the movie Coco. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests, if you have any. Now, whenever we think of a contest, we think that's something different. Well, let's look at it from a different perspective. If you have heard of a story of a village where there was no rain for a lot of time, severe drought, and then they finally decided, let's have a prayer. Let's do a prayer on that particular day, and on that, if the prayer goes well, we are going to have rain that day. So that's what everybody thought. And the priest who was going to conduct the prayer, he said, why don't you all bring an object of faith? Everybody thought, okay, an object of faith. Some had lucky charms, some had a picture of God, some had an idol itself. Each had a different version. However, there was one small boy, that particular day, he came there and he brought an umbrella. Now, when you look at what you are doing that particular, there are different ways to look at the story. Yes, it was a symbol of faith because he felt that day it was going to rain, so he needed that umbrella. Now, what else can you infer from the story? Any other thoughts from the story? Belief, yes. Okay.
Being prepared.
Being prepared, okay. Someone's getting nearer to that, yes.
Positive.
Positive thinking, yes. Hope, okay. We had an answer which said preparation, being prepared, and that was the answer I was expecting. Anything closer?
Foresee the results.
Foresee the results. So depending on the situation, you have to foresee the results and be prepared. Now, if it was some other event, you could have had some other object of faith. But on this particular event, there was going to be expected result was rain. So for rain, you had to be prepared with an umbrella. So it's the same with contests as well. So you have different types of contests in Toastmasters. For each of those contests, you have to be prepared in a different way. Okay, so that's why preparation is so critical. We have our prepared speeches here. Every prepared speech has an objective. And with that objective, we have people coming and giving their speeches, and we have evaluators evaluating them based on the project objectives. And if they are satisfied objective, we are good. But in contest, the idea itself changes, because you're not going to be evaluated based on whatever speech you gave. You are going to be contesting. So you're going to be judged based on your speech, and your speech cannot have a specific objective, or even if you had an objective, that nobody is going to tell that to the audience. Okay, so this is the difference between a regular speech and a contest speech. Contest speech, the objective of speech, you will have an objective, you will have a purpose, but it's not going to be told to the audience ahead of time. So in your speech, you have to ensure that when you are going to speak here, the purpose of your speech is very well known to the audience. So with that said, let's get into the various elements of a speech. Do we have the PDF file we projected? Okay. Fine. Before we get to that, the PDF is something very simple. It's the judging criteria or the judge's ballot. Okay, that's what we had, and I can explain that to you also in a very brief way. Now, if you have looked at the judging ballot, it will tell you what are the various categories under which a judging is done in Toastmasters. The first and foremost, if you look at it, you have content. Content comes for about 50 marks, or 50% of the judging is done based on the content. The next is the delivery. 30% goes for delivery. The last is language, how we have used your language appropriately. So when you look at these three parts, you realize content is given priority in Toastmasters. So how do you get on with content? How do you go with it? Now, if you look at the judging ballot, it clearly explains the judging criteria. Judging ballot also gives the judging criteria. Oh no, I will ask you.
Share.
Yeah, I have it. I just wanted to ensure. Oh, you already got this part of the WhatsApp. Okay.
Share.
Yeah. If you can also project it, that would be great. So if you look at it, the second page of it tells everyone the judging criteria which is used for each judge, what they are going to use. Now, how do you convert, or how do you have a speech which can satisfy all the criteria? There are different ways in which you can do it. In fact, if you go through the judging criteria, you will have a clear idea what you have to do with your speech. But it doesn't tell you exactly what are the things which can help you score on all those places. And here are some guidelines which I would like to share with you based on what I have understood and what I have learned. Now, when you are starting off with a speech in a contest, the first and foremost thing that you have to do is you have to write it down, or you have to type it out. Whichever you are comfortable with. You are comfortable with writing, go ahead and write. If you are comfortable typing it out in computer or laptop, that's perfectly fine. Why should you do that? Now, in a speech, especially a contest speech, it's not enough that you go and then give it once. It will be multiple times that you're going to repeat that till you get your speech to perfection. So if you want to use it as a reference, you'll have a ready reference when you have typed out your speech. So starting off with typing out your speech, it ensures that you are able to get to it at any point of time. Number two, if you have had to make any changes, let's say you have a word but you want to have more impactful word. Today I was thinking, I'm getting very tired. Now instead of saying I'm very tired, you can say exhausted. Now you wanted to replace, the idea is tired, but at that point you want to give an impact, you can replace it. So if you have it typed out, you can make a change to it right away. And last but not least, any grammatical errors, in case you're starting off with speech first time or you're not used to giving out a speech earlier, if you wanted to ensure you want to check it out, you can always use the text editor, have a spell check, and you should be able to correct it based on your text which you have typed. So that's why we start off always with typing out your speech, especially if it's a contest speech. Now you have typed out your speech, you have idea of what you're going to give. Now what is the next thing that you will do? Now here is what you would do. You would try to add more stories or conversations into your speech. Why do you want to add stories or conversations? If you look at it, you have an idea, but if you tell just an idea, it's just people will think, okay, for example, I would say, okay, contest, you have to be prepared for a contest. That is what is International Speech Contest, and that's what I'm doing today. But I didn't want to start with that. I thought I'd give you an idea, or a story which tells the idea. The story of the young boy who brought the umbrella. So that way, I'm trying to emphasize the idea that you have to be prepared. The same way, when you give a story in your speech, it all obviously helps the audience connect better with your speech. So more than, because you are already connected to your speech, you should be. By the time you are speaking, you should be connected to your speech. But your audience to connect with it, you will need stories. Conversations. Why would you need conversations? Any thoughts?
Give scope for vocal variety and body language.
Scope for vocal variety and body language. Great answer.
It won't be boring and monotonous.
Exactly, that's another point. So it won't be boring. It will be engaging. So when you have a conversation, it will be engaging. I could always say, okay, Pravda called me on phone and she asked me what happened. She asked me if everything was okay. I can tell you that, but she said, Partha, meeting is going to start. What happened? Are you going to come on time or are you start? That's what she asked. Okay, when I try to recreate that scenario, it gives a little bit of scope of what really happened. I can even change my vocal variety as distinguished Toastmaster Sundaraman said. And I can also add some more actions, body actions also. Because on a phone I cannot just say she called. I can always say, yeah, he's speaking, you can do a little bit of body action. So your conversations will definitely help you to bring the vocal variety as well as some gestures which you can show. So do include those conversations in your speeches wherever possible, and especially emotions. Whatever emotions that you can bring in, do use that. The other thing you would have to realize when you're adding those stories and conversations is you might want to consider reordering your speech. Maybe at the beginning you had a way of starting. This is what is your story, this is what I wanted to tell in this speech. You would have started on that line. But when you reorder, let's say you want a story, let's start with that story for this particular speech. It will enhance your speech. You get to the idea in a different direction, but it will also get to the audience. So consider reordering after you add the story. If you want to reorder your speech, just say, okay, I want to put this story first. Most of the time it would have happened. If you have sent your speech script to your mentor would say, this story is very nice. Why don't you add it at the beginning of your speech? That way, that will help the people also connect better, and that story will help you take along. So these are a couple of reasons why you should definitely have your stories and conversations included. Now imagine you're done with your first was typing out your script and having it written down. Next was adding your stories and conversations. The next and the last part which I wanted to convey was you should enhance your speech with verbal and visual effects. Now when I say visual effects and verbal effects, I mean to say how does the speech come out to the audience? Now you might need a prop. Let's say you are going to have, if you are talking about Toastmasters handle different situations, roles and responsibilities. But Toastmasters itself has this speech in them. They have what they call as Toastmasters wears different hats. Okay. So what we mean is each time we are on a stage, we are doing a different role. Sometimes we are Toastmaster of the day, sometimes we are general evaluator. So for emphasizing this particular point, all you need is you might need a couple of caps each saying whatever role that they have, and then say, okay, now I'm putting on my gender evaluator hat, or now I'm putting on my Toastmaster of the Day hat, because in the same meeting you're doing multiple roles. So you can use a prop there, which will enhance the visual effect of how the audience see it. The other thing is, of course, gestures that you're going to do, that will also needs to be enhanced. So when you're practicing, see how that will be impacted. Verbal effects. Now, we always know that we can always tell an idea, but when you're able to compare an idea with something else, that has better impact. Okay? For example, let's say she came to the boxing ring. She came ferociously to the boxing ring. This is one way of, or she angrily came to the boxing ring, or she came to the boxing ring with a lot of determination. Yes, you are telling about a person, you're giving some explanation. She came to the boxing ring like a lion. Now you are comparing a lion. Of course, you would not know whether a lion acts as boxing or not, or it may not even be possible. But here you are comparing. When you do a comparison, that actually enhances a person's capability to depict the idea. It enhances the imagination of the people. Oh, okay, this is there. So when you look at comparison, there are a few comparisons. You would have heard this popular Tamil dialogue in the movie Chandramukhi. See, where the person says, "Ava Chandramukhi oda salangiya paatha, ava Chandramukhi mare paada aramicha, Chandramukhi mare aada aramicha, ava Chandramukhi ave aita." You would have heard that, of course, with a different modulation from Rajnikant. But that is exactly the point. When you look at it, at the initial stages, he says like Chandramukhi. She does a few things like Chandramukhi. Like she dances like Chandramukhi. She sings like Chandramukhi. Then finally, he says she becomes Chandramukhi. Okay, and in English language we call this as alliteration. This is similes. Exactly. This is similes. When you say you attribute a person's characteristic to another object, then you call it as a simile. And when you are attributing all the characters, you're not saying one particular part, you're saying no, he has become the entire person, then it is a metaphor. Okay, so these are some common examples that I could give. So any other examples you can think of? Simile, a comparison of one particular characteristic in day-to-day life.
He is like a lion. His comparison.
Like
a lion. It's metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
Only remove one word.
Exactly.
Yes,
like
a golden heart. Golden heart.
Golden heart. Okay, give a
Metaphor.
situation. To give money or?
No, he is so empathetic and he has.
So empathetic that he has a golden heart. Okay, that is a metaphor. Okay, a heart, golden heart. Obviously, it does not exist, but that is the metaphor that is. Any other?
She sings like a cuckoo.
She sings like a cuckoo. Great. Okay.
That's a simile.
Simile. Perfect.
Fresh as a flower.
Fresh as a flower. Okay. Fresh as a flower. That is a flower. Is a person is fresh as a flower. Okay. Any other similes? Comparisons. What do you do in day-to-day life?
Red as a rose.
Red as a rose. Okay. Busy as a bee.
Eats like a bahasuran.
Eats like a bahasuran. There's one from Muhammad Ali. Anybody remember?
Sting like a bee.
Sting like a. Yeah. Floats like a. Float like a butterfly. Stings like a bee. So that's a simile. You're talking about one particular cat that is stinging and you're floating. If you're saying he's a butterfly and he is a bee, then that becomes a metaphor. Okay, so that is the only difference. Sometimes metaphors has more impact because you are not going to tell one characteristic, you are letting the person imagine what are all the characteristics that could be. You're saying, oh, he was a demon in front of everybody. He was a demon. So he was a demon, you are letting them think, okay, whether it was the appearance like a demon or was he powerful like a demon. You're not telling that part. You're letting the audience imagine what is that power of demons. That is one way of doing it. Okay, comparisons. Next, we'll go on to the other type of enhancing your verbal effects, which is what we call in English as alliterations. Okay, that's what I wanted to tell you. So we are saying this job, he had completed the job, is one way of telling. This job which he did is now done and dusted. Done and dusted. So the D sound is repeated twice. Okay, you would have heard of it. It's the same, you're giving the same idea that your job was completed. But here you're saying it is done and dusted. So this way you are trying to let people know that was the end of it. You can obviously add some more vocal variety to it. You can also add some more visual effects, whatever you would like to say, verbal effects also. Okay, so that is one way of doing it. Any other alliterations that you have heard of?
Dejected, disappointed, derailed.
Now you're going to a triad, okay. I'll get to a triad. It's a triad and alliteration, correct, okay. That's the most common one, yeah.
Awake and arise.
Arise and awake, okay, great, yeah. Awake and arise, which from? That's a great quote from Vivekananda, yeah. Sometimes you have to give courtesy to whoever gave that idea. Okay. Arise and awake, so that's the R sound comes twice, okay. Any other alliterations you would have heard of? And sometimes remember, the alliteration need not be the exact same letter to start off with. It needs the same sound to start off with. Okay. For example, the final phase. Final phase, both final start with F, phase starts with the P, PH rather. But the sound is fast sound. So its final phase still comes as a alliteration. Okay. Any other alliteration that you can? Any simple alliteration can be there. Donald Duck, Peppa Pig, yeah. So all these alliterations have become very popular because of alliterations. Peppa Pig, it could have been some other pig also, but because it was not a Dabba pig, no, it was a Peppa Pig. That made a difference. Maybe a Dabba duck would have been a different, but here it was Peppa Pig, so that's why it made a difference. Good. So why characters become interesting is because we have alliterations. Any other alliterations? Okay, so we're good with alliterations, right? You can think of few. Now we'll go to the triads. So can you repeat the one?
Dejected, disappointed, and
derailed. Okay, dejected, disappointed, derailed, devastated. Okay, at least we have to keep three of them for a triad. A triad need not necessarily have to be alliterations, but a set of three. Whatever you are trying to convey when you are trying to conclude or whatever you can put it on. I got it. So whenever you are trying to convey an idea, when you use triads, the enhancement is much different. You are really the impact of whatever you're saying is here. Here, as he said, he tried hard, but still he failed. He felt dejected, devastated, and derailed. He felt exhausted or he felt bad. You could even say felt bad, but felt bad, we feel bad for everything. Here you are really you want to give the effect that this person is totally lost. So that is why we use triads. Any other triads?
Slip, trip, and fell down.
Slip, trip, and fell down. Yeah, okay. He slipped, tripped, and fell down. Okay. For a person is walking, he slipped, tripped, and then fell down. Or can you do slip and trip together? Okay. Fine. Any good one? Any other triads? Triads. For example, let's say you are coming to the office late. So what would your manager say? Maybe that was a bit complicated one. Okay.
Sign, seal, delivered.
Sign?
Seal, delivered.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Sign, seal, delivered.
Sign, sealed, and delivered. Okay, the package was signed, sealed, and delivered. Is that the correct
Yes,
intent?
but it's also used for something which is like in place of done and dusted.
Okay, in place of done and dusted, you can say signed, sealed, and delivered. Okay, great.
Like it, share it, subscribe.
Like it, share it, subscribe. Okay, like which we normally see in YouTube. So instead, you can just say like it or share it, or even subscribe. Most of them they say subscribe, but they say like it, share it, and subscribe, so that the effect of the triad is felt.
Get, set, go.
Get, set, go. Wonderful. So you already have that. Okay, you want to be ready, or you instead of saying just be ready, be ready. You have to get, set, and go. Okay. Any other triads?
Came, saw, conquered.
He came, he saw, he conquered. From?
Napoleon.
Alexander. Caesar.
I thought it was Caesar. Yeah. Okay. And in fact, it was. I think it's a French or Greek. Veni. You have all scholars here, so thank you so much. So yeah, that's great. So that's again a triad, example of a triad, and it's not that you have to use only a triad from history. You can always bring your own triad also. So if you have some words, try to see if you can make it a set of three, so that it will work. It need not be only something which is already familiar. You can always come up with your own triad. Okay. So we saw about similes, metaphors. We saw about alliterations and triads. Next, I thought we need to, especially for a contest speech, you need to have a reverberating line. Some line which tells the audience or reminds the audience on the line of path that you are going on. For example, there's one speech, again, I cannot remember the exact name of the speaker, but all he said was, it was one of those days. It's just one of those days. So he tells about a situation at the airport where he has, the flight is full, so he's standing in the line and seeing everybody in front saying the flight is full, so it's saying, oh, it's going to be one of those days. Then after some time, he sees a fight happening, so he has to intervene, and then he's, oh, just one of those days. And then when he is able to converse with the air hostess, and then she is so happy that he helped him resolve the conflict, and then she offers him a free flight, or rather an upgraded flight ticket. Now he says, wow, it's just one of those days. Now, the same one of those days, if you remember, it's a reverberating line. It's the line which he's using. In fact, he used it for his title itself. And he used at different points of time with different intonations. So initially he would say, it's one of the days to say it's going to be a pathetic day. And then he said it's going to be an interesting day. And finally he said it was for a wonderful day. It's just one of those days. So you can think of some reverberating lines which it will help you enhance your speech, or it will help people connect with your speech all the time. Instead of telling them the entire story and then they realize, oh, what was he talking about? They might forget. So instead, if you have that reverberating line throughout, somewhere around your speech, okay, you cannot have it at the opening, or you can do if it really makes sense. But anywhere, you should start and go on with it. Okay. Any other reverberating line?
I see something in you.
I see something. Dhananjay Hidrachi, he used that. I see something. I do not know what it is. But of course, it goes on. But that he used to repeat many times, and that was his winning speech as well.
Last time, this runner-up said, swipe. Latest conference. Nisha.
Swipe?
Credit card. She metaphorically used swipe it. I think more than 5 times. So she
okay, swipe it. Okay.
Swipe it.
So it can even be as simple as that. Swipe it also would be a simple reverberating line. I try to use it to say, I try to say reverberating line. Any repeating line, whatever.
Anchor phrase, people love. Anchor phrase.
Anchor phrase.
Foundation phrase.
Foundation phrase, okay. However you want to call it. I like the idea of reverberating because it gets into my mind and reverberates. I use it as reverberating line. Anything you might have used?
It is from our club's champions words. It is not what it is.
It is not what it is. Yeah, great. So that's all. You repeat it many times, you get it. So is the idea clear? What you have to do? In your regular speech, after you have typed it down, after you have added your stories and your conversations, try to find out which line will reverberate, or will have the foundation phrase which you will use to connect. That way, your entire speech will be connected from beginning till the end. And of course, you can give a message and you conclude. So if you look at, and scroll down a little bit. So if you have, I hope you had a chance to go through. If not, please you can scroll down to the next page. So this is something for the judges, so you can read out that part. But my intent was for you to concentrate on these are the content. What does the speech development mean? And what does effectiveness, what does speech value mean? And why they want you to have a purpose in your speech. So that is, speech can have any purpose. It can be information, it can be entertainment, it can be even to inspire. Now, of course, we all like to hear information speech and also entertaining speech. But if it has a message, if it has an inspiration for a call for action, that gets a bigger value, or people think, wow, this is great, this is something I loved about it. So you can always include all these. There's no, you cannot exactly say this is only for information, this is only for entertainment. Mix a few of information and entertainment. However, if you can get something which will also be something like an inspiration for our audience, it will work. But Toastmasters does not say the speech has to be only this way. It says there should be a purpose for you to give a speech. It cannot be a set of jokes like you would have heard stand-up comedy. There is no specific reason why you give it. It's just for you to entertain, but there is no theme, there's no thematic approach to it. Randomly they'll choose some jokes and they will go on. But that's not Toastmasters. That's not how Toastmasters designed the speech. They wanted to have a particular theme, and then you have it will be thematic and for you to go around with it. Now I wanted to, okay, you know what, let's take a pause at this particular point and I'll take some questions. Then I'll go on to some changes to the voting method. Okay. So yeah, now it's time for any questions that you may have.
So we need to incorporate all these elements and also at the same time deliver the content that we have prepared, right? So
yes. Yeah, definitely. This is all guidelines which will help you. That is for you to prepare your text or type it down, and then to add your dialogues and your conversations. And then last to enhance verbal. So it's good that you add all these things, and when you do it, you're going to do it in your text itself. And most importantly, after you do this, you have to rehearse. You have to rehearse with your mentor, and with your mentor, they will suggest improvements at that point of time. So that has to definitely happen. This is only half done. 50% is only half done. The job is only half done. You'll have to rehearse and get there. By the time you rehearse, all these things incorporated will already come back to you. So you're not going to tell something out of the world. Whatever you have done so far is what you have put. And you cannot do it in one day. Definitely it doesn't go in one day. It at least takes some. Thanks, Pravda. Yeah. Hi.
Apart from the project objectives and manuals, what is the difference that which you see giving a speech in a club, the regular Toastmaster meeting, and then with respect to an ISC? Or what is the major difference that which we see?
Yeah, so one is obviously there are no objectives to it, and so you're not going to get, or you're not going to think of evaluation per se. You're going to, in terms of thinking of how you can score in all these areas. Okay, so there are different areas. It's not just enough that you give a great speech. You need to give a speech wherein you will be able to score on all these points. At the end of the day, if you come and you will be satisfied with your speech, but if you realize why you didn't score, because not all the elements you might have reached. So look at your speech from, of course you have already prepared your speech, that's why I said content is first. Then when you go to delivery and when you try to enhance your speech, what are the different criteria in which you can enhance your speech? So if you look at it, you will realize you need to add something more, add some more comparisons to your speech. So you can definitely add comparisons. You initially need not have to have it, because if the idea is straightforward for you, but if you want the idea to be conveyed to the others, then in fact would be add a comparison, add those triads, all those things. That's where it will enhance your speech.
I think to answer that question, ISC speeches generally people look for some refreshing thoughts and originality, so rather than borrowed content. So I think most of the time the original thoughts will give part of weightage, though it is not part of balance.
No, it is that part of it. In fact, that was the part I was going to get at finally. If you can, just because you brought up that point, let's go there. So if you look at it, we do have, yeah, that's right. The speech value, ideas, logic, and original thought, now it has been enhanced to 25. Earlier it was only a 15-point item which was on the ballot. Now it has been increased to 25. That means Toastmasters feels that where somebody is bringing an original thought, idea, or a logic to the speech we have never heard of, that has to be given more value. Earlier this was 25, this was 15 and 15. Sorry, this was 20, 15 and 15. Now this has been increased to 25. That means maximum weightage is given to a speech value, and the others are 15 and 10 respectively. So what was earlier 15 and 15, now this has become 10 and this has become 15 here. So this change has come through, and this is why in your speech your original thoughts must come in. So instead of your regular speeches where it could be a lot of borrowed material, here it has to have a lot of your original thought and original logic which comes on your what you feel.
You can also mention plagiarism.
Okay, plagiarism is, again, it's a situation where you take content from other sources, and in Toastmasters the maximum that they allow is 25% of your speech. Not more than 25% of your speech can be taken from other sources, and even if you have taken within the 25, you still have to give right courtesy and right source for why you have taken it. So you have to give that due respect to that. If you can do that, that's fine. But my suggestion is don't go too much into it. Just keep that to the limitation. Okay. So glad now you're done with that also. Any other questions? One last question I can take before we wind up. No other questions? Very clear.
So what should not be there, like inappropriate something like apart from politics?
Okay, it's not just politics, but anything which can hurt the sentiments of people, or at least one set of sentiments of people. Normally, what happens is some people are fine with whatever speech people are giving, but some take it at a sentimental value. So if you think your speech hurts sentiment of people, try to avoid it. If it has language which can be which is very negative, try to avoid it with more positive and reinforcing language. If you think it's not suitable for an audience where you have, most of the times in Toastmasters they say for every audience you have to give a speech. So if you're at a club level, your speech is for the club. Example is corporate club. Most of us will know jargons from testing, from UAT, SIT, all these words everybody in our club will know. I mean, because they are all, most of them are software engineers. But here if I say SIT, system integrated testing, UATs. No, you forgot that. User acceptance testing. Okay, so that happens because unless I tell user, if I say user acceptance testing, it's fine. So avoid jargons. Whichever is familiar only to your club, avoid that. Especially if you're going beyond your club. So that will help you be a more generic speaker.
Is it okay to use a non-English speaking judge should not be at a disadvantage? One can use from any vernacular language, but has to translate that.
Okay. So if you are using your local language, for example, I did about Chandramukhi, right? I just came back and told exactly. I translated because I wanted to ensure if you have not heard of that particular dialogue before, you understand that. So if you are using an idea or a dialogue just for the sake of getting an impact, afterwards try to see if you can at least translate the idea of it. You may not be able to translate the entire paragraph or the entire line, at least the idea, the gist of it, if you can do, that will at least help people who do not get that particular language, they will be able to understand.
In the recent times, so I think we are not supposed to refer other speeches or names.
Yes.
Oh, that's a new rule. Okay. Oh, okay. So the new rule in Toastmasters they added is you shouldn't be referring to another contestant's speech or their name. For example, if I have been speaking about any one particular item, let's say for it has to be very specific. Okay, it's not just about very specific about computer engineering. Computer engineering is a very vast subject. If somebody talks about computer engineering, that's fine. But if I'm talking about one particular incident which happened and you are using that as a reference, it doesn't happen the way it happens in UAT for Partha. Or even you just say UAT, you don't even say Partha, that itself, okay, you're already referring to somebody else's speech who already was on stage and who gave it to you. So you're not supposed to reference because that person lies at a disadvantage. They cannot reference you in their speech because their speech is already over. So Toastmaster said, avoid referring to another person's speech. Start original from wherever you are going. And also don't refer their name, like the previous contestant name or his name, or you might want to take a dig at the person. Don't do that because again that gives a disadvantage to the person.
Is it fine or not fine to use the PPT during the ISC?
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. But again, see, the intent of a speech is for you to connect with the audience. And if they are going to look at the PPT all the time, then it takes the focus away from the entire from you. Okay, so there are no judges going to give marks for the PPT. We do not have. If you look at it, there is no big points for if there is anything. It may be maybe an effectiveness would have happened, but the effectiveness might actually come low if that PPT is not so useful. So if you have the idea, let's let the idea from you. You might use one or two if you want. If you really feel that's impact, that's fine. But most of the time we ask them to avoid PPT. Some other prop is fine. A mobile phone or a cap, whatever I said. All those things are fine.
So if I may, are you sure it's allowed? Because you can use placards. That the second prize winner did it, international. I've never seen. Have you seen?
I have used.
I
have used. PPT for
internationals. Yeah.
Club level.
Is that correct? I'm not so sure.
No, see, that's what I'm trying to say. It does not amount to a disqualification, but it definitely puts you at a disadvantage.
Better to
avoid, yeah. Because you have to set it up. Again, you have to set it up with
technical challenges.
Suppose, and you have to go ahead and make the changes. In a presentation, doesn't matter because anyway, I'm not going to be judged for a presentation. But in a contest, you are going to be judged every minute. Even if they see a drop or a break in your pause in your speech, there's a chance that your points are getting lost. So that's how it is. Okay. I guess thanks for that question. I think we had a good session. I really enjoyed that. I know these are not, as I told you, these are not rules that we're talking about. We're talking about guidelines which will really help you. And if you look at it, the preparation for ISC, it's not just for you to come and give a speech alone, but it's for you to think of it as how you'll be approaching some other thing in life. If you want to be prepared, it really helps you. So preparing for ISC also helps you to prepare for different things in life, and it gives you, definitely a contest gives you that sense of encouragement, and competitiveness encourages you to do that. So I surely ask you to do contest in your club, and irrespective of the result, make sure that you give a good performance. Okay, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Lady Potter, for this interesting information session. I request publishing actor to be there to share with you. now we'll get into the triple spaces session. Our first speaker is Toastmaster Pushparajan. Request the evaluator to read out the speech objectives.
Good afternoon, friends. We're going to listen to the maiden speech shortly by Toastmaster Pushparajan. This is from the humorously speaking part, the icebreaker, project 1, the level 1, project 1. It's called Life is a Roller Coaster. It's 4 to 6 minutes. All the best. The objective goes like this. The purpose of this project is to introduce yourself to the class and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Overview: write and deliver a speech about any topic to introduce yourself to your club. Your speech may be humorous, informational, or any other style that appeals to you.
Toastmaster Pushparajan. Life is a roller coaster. Life is a roller coaster. Toastmaster Pushparajan. Before we get started with this movie magic experience.
I love to watch movies during the COVID time. I binge watch movies, and the best movie, I think, is the movie Tumba. Have you ever watched Tumba? It's a fictional movie. It's an excellent movie, and if you haven't, please watch that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can get started.
Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. How many of you have ever succeeded, at least in some areas of your life? How many of you have failed in your life, in some areas? So almost all of us have failed in some areas and succeeded in some areas. But my life is an absolute roller coaster of successes and failures. When I was a child, when I was in kindergarten, I was a brilliant kid. That's what my parents thought, at least. I used to get hundreds and 99s in every subject, and I even got a double promotion. I was promoted from first standard to third standard. So I was very happy, and all my friends called me Pushpa, Pushpa, Pushpa. Nobody called me Pushparajan. Even now, most of my friends call me Pushpa. That's how I want to be called. I love to be called Pushpa. I don't like to be called Pushpa sir or Pushparajan. So I was very happy. But when I entered fourth standard, I was in a different school at that time. My parents thought they should put me in a different school, in a better school. So I entered fourth standard. In that school, everything was different. The second language was Hindi. So I didn't know a word of Hindi. So I struggled, and many children made even fun of me, like my behavior, my character, my speaking accent and everything. So I went into a shell. I went into my shell, and I didn't communicate properly. I started hating classes, and then I didn't study. Eventually, in the final exams, in the 6th standard, I failed in the final exams, and I was totally shocked. I was confused. I didn't know even what to do, because I was not even sad. My parents suddenly started scolding me. I didn't know what was happening around me. So my grandfather put me again in a different school in 7th standard, and this school was very good because all the teachers supported me. I didn't have to go through the 6th standard again, and this school was very different, and I had lots of playtime and other things, so I enjoyed the classes, and I got back into shape, I should say. But I started studying well. I studied there till plus 2. So 10th standard and plus 2, I could complete almost all my syllabus in 3 months, the plus 2 syllabus. So I was studying so hard night and day, and again my parents thought this guy is very intelligent. So I entered an engineering college after plus 2. That's Vellore Engineering College. They used to call it Vellore, now it is VIT. So when I went there, I was very energetic, very optimistic. And when I entered there, I didn't expect ragging and all that. And then the seniors started ragging me. And again I was shocked, and I got back into my shell. I didn't communicate. So I was not able to face reality. I started boozing, I started smoking, I jumped out of the compound wall to go to movies. I did everything that what the youngster will do. So this happened and I lost interest in studies. I was always thinking of the next drink and all that. And so I was in Vellore and my parents were here. So I had to go there every week and come back. This happened, I lost interest in studies again. And I couldn't complete my engineering degree on time. But my sister and my brother, they were all studying very hard. My brother went to US, my sister went to Singapore. But I was the only useless person again. This happened. So my parents thought this is the only useless guy in the house. He is not fit to be here. So again I was disappointed and distressed, I should say. I didn't know what to do. But one day I was really praying to God, saying, "No, I don't want to live. Please take my life," and all that. Suddenly something shifted in my mind. And then I realized that my life is created by none other than me. I created my life. So at that point I thought like I had to get back. And then I started studying again and I cleared all the arrears. And I also did an English degree. I did masters in English and masters in linguistics. I got a very good job. And I got married and my wife is a teacher and I have two beautiful kids. My daughter is in college now. She's doing marine operations. It's a wonderful family. I have a pet named Oreo, a Pomeranian. It's a very happy life. But people think like, see, I've even written a book called Stop Smoking in 3 Days now. So it's on Amazon and Flipkart. So it's not like, see, everything turns. Everything changes. So everybody calls me Pushpa again, everybody like life is very happy, but I know this is not the end or anything. Again, I may go down or I may go up. Anything can happen in my life. That's a part of life. So I realized that whatever happens around us, we should be like, take it in the good spirit. It's for the benefit of us. And now I can say, many of you would have watched this movie, Pushpa. So now I can say, Pushpa doesn't mean flower, it's fire. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster for taking us through the Pushpa's roller coaster ride. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Jayashree. Toastmaster Jayashree is a product manager, freelance web developer, true ARF fan, stock market enthusiast, and also the ardent follower of cricket. I request the evaluator to read out the speech objectives.
In Toastmaster Venkateshan, I will be evaluating the speech of Toastmaster Jayashree today. She will be delivering her speech on the project Understanding Her Communication Style under Dynamic Leadership Pathways Level 2. Through this project, she has understood different types of communication style and her primary communication style. And with this speech, she will be sharing her understanding on the different communication styles and how it has impacted her and others. The time for the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to Toastmaster Jayashree.
Toastmaster Jayashree, Varanam Ayiram.
That movie that which I could relate it to my personal life a lot, where a person goes through a different phases of life, love, loss, soul searching, self-discovery, and then how he leads a very natural, beautiful life at the end of the day. So everyone has ups and downs in life, what Pushpa said, and this movie, something that which I love a lot because it's a genius movie. What else?
Toastmaster Jayashree, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Toastmaster? Our next speaker is DTM Sundaraman. He was actually a past president of Medley twice. He also completed DTM twice. After 40 years of corporate life, now he is actually busy with being a public speaking coach and also like digital speaking evangelist. And he is also a proud author of the book Business Storytelling for Leaders. I request the evaluator to read out the speech objectives.
Target speaker DTM Sundararaman. It's going to deliver the speech from Pathway, Engaging Humor, Level 3, Project 1, Inspire Your Audience. The purpose of this project is for the member practice writing and delivering the speech that inspire others. Very all the best, DTM Sundararaman.
So your favorite movie? Let me recollect past 3 or 4 decades. Shankara Maranam, the musical group. What is the reason why? The evergreen melodies, the movie, and the story. Thank you so much. DTM Sundararaman, the bullseye, DTM Sundararaman. Philately, photography, origami, astronomy, calligraphy, pottery. Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, guess what? Hobbies. My hobbies that changed every 3 months. I could never stick to one thing. Doing the same thing again and again, it's boring for me. Have you ever felt like me? Doing the same thing again and again and getting stressed out? So at this point of time, I was wondering whether to be a jack of all trades or master of one thing. You ever heard about the personality called Revati Shankaran? Sounds familiar? She is a TV anchor, and if I say that she acted as the mother of Rajinikanth in the movie Endiran, probably some of you will be able to recollect. She is actually a polymath, meaning that a multifaceted personality. Probably 10 years back, she was invited as one of the keynote speakers for a Toastmaster Division conference. And I had the opportunity to talk to her in a candid manner, and she revealed her experience. Once Revati Shankaran met the legendary musical star M.S. Subbulakshmi. And M.S. Subbulakshmi, after listening to Revati Shankaran, told Revati Shankaran, "Hey Revati, you have got a fantastic voice. Probably you could have stuck to Carnatic music, and by this time you would have become a celebrity singer." Oh, me? Focusing only on Carnatic music? No way. In that case, I would have never become a TV anchor. I would have never become a culinary expert. I would have never become a storyteller. And even I could not have done my Kuttu dance. Wow. A polymath endorsing my views. Try to be a jack of all trades and master of none and be happy with that. But friends, some of the advocates for specialization provoke my thought to become a specialist. They used to often quote people like Sachin Tendulkar, Ilayaraja. You see, Sachin Tendulkar became a great cricket star because of his focus only on cricket. And Ilayaraja doesn't know anything beyond silly music. He is a master of film music. My God. Yes, I fully agree that they have become specialists because of sheer focus on one thing. But the mere thought of focusing on one thing and doing again and again, my God, it is stressful. I still was contemplating whether to be jack of all trades or master of one thing. I could never do that. But at this point of time, so let me narrate one incident that happened which gave me a little bit of insight. I used to go from my home to YMCA Nandana, which is a sports college, for my daily morning walk. One day when I was going there, there was a little bit of crowd, and this place was actually an archery ground. And in the archery ground, there was a target board like this. A target board with a lot of concentric rings. And this is supposed to be the bullseye. And these students, new students, they were supposed to hit the bullseye. And in the process, they were trying to focus heavily and trying to focus on the board and then hit the bullseye. But unfortunately, none of the arrows were even targeting the target board. It was going in all directions. And I was reminded of this movie, popular comedy movie, Himsa Arasan Rangam. And I was wondering whether any of the arrows will hit me. So at that point of time, the coach Johnson jumped in and said, hey guys, stop.
I think I know that you are all very much interested in hitting the bullseye. And in that process, you all get stressed out. Don't do that. Let me give some suggestion. So the very first instant, it is very difficult to hit the bullseye. You start focusing on the target board. So your arrow can hit any portion of the arrow board, and at the moment it hits the outer layer, you will get 5 points, then the next layer 6, then 7, 8, and slowly, the moment your body and mind aligns, you will be able to hit the bullseye and get 10 marks. That was not only a message for those archery students, it was also a message for me. Bingo. I got the message. Yes, I could find some metaphorical message in that, whatever instruction Mr. Johnson was giving. Yes, when you want to become a specialist, we get stressed out, and in that process, we are unable to focus on anything. Try to focus on similar things, and over a period of time, you will be able to identify your bullseye. In fact, I was able to recollect some of my favorite heroes, like Rabindranath Tagore, writer Sujata, actor Kamal Hassan. All of them are polymaths like Revati Shankaran, but they were able to identify their bullseye. For example, writer Sujata is a short story writer, novelist, movie scripter, movie producer, poet, and he was also working in a public sector as the general manager. But today we remember Sujata as a short story, the best short story writer. That was his bullseye. Same applicable for Kamal Hassan. Kamal Hassan is a dancer, dance director, film director, movie producer, actor, and even a politician today. But he could figure out his bullseye. Today he is remembered for his acting skills. Now I am doing some activities which are closely aligned. I am a public speaker, corporate trainer, author, blogger, and book reviewer. But what will be my bullseye? My bullseye will be to become a global keynote speaker. So that is what I am aiming, and one day my mind and body will tell how to hit the bullseye. Many of you may think this process of identifying bullseye is going to be a tough task. But remember, where there is a will, there will be a way.
Thank you, D.T. Sudaraman, for helping us to know how to hit the bullseye. Timer, could you call out the qualified speakers?
All the three speakers are qualified: Toastmaster Pushparajan, Toastmaster Jayashri, and distinguished Toastmaster Sundar.
Thank you, Timer. Then we can launch the polling for the best speaker. So when we do that, I just recently I watched this Tamil movie and got very much inspired and then influenced. I will just
எங்கள் அனைவரையும் இந்த சர்க்கார் முட்டாளாக்கிவிட்டது. அவர்கள் அரசியல் ஆட்டத்துக்கு எங்களை பகடையாக்கிவிட்டது. சட்டானியும் போலீஸும் நீயும் நானும் இங்கே புதிதாய் பிறந்த என் குழந்தையும் அவர்கள் உருட்டுக்கு தலையசைத்து உருளப் போகிற பகடைதான். இன்னும் சற்று நேரத்தில் நம்மை அழித்து நம் பணத்தை கைப்பற்ற ஒரு பெரிய படையே இங்கு வருகிறது. நாம் செத்தொழிந்தாலே ஒழிய விட்டொழிய மாட்டார்கள். அவர்களுக்கு பயந்து நம் நிலத்தை விட்டு ஓடப் போவதில்லை. மோதி பார்க்கலாம், அவர்களை ஜெயிக்க முடியாது. ஆனாலும் மோதி பார்க்கலாம். போலீஸாக இங்கே வரும் 4 கெட்டவனையும் 40 நல்லவனையும் கொள்ளலாம். ஆனால் நீங்களும் இப்போது நானும் ஈவி இறக்கம் உள்ள மனிதர்களாக ஆனதால் இன்னொரு உயிரை எடுக்க மனம் வரவில்லை. ஆதலால் ஆயுதம் ஏந்துவது வேண்டாம். அவர்களிடம் துப்பாக்கி இருக்கிறது. அதை விட பயங்கரமான குரூரமான அரசியல் இருக்கிறது. அது இரண்டுக்கு முன்னே நாம் வைத்திருக்கும் துப்பாக்கியோ அருவாளோ வேல்கம்போ எதுவும் நிற்காது. நாம் இருந்த தடம் கூட தெரியாமல் அழிக்கப்படுவோம். ஆனால் அவர்களை தோற்கடிக்க புதைக்கப்பட இருக்கும் நம் சரித்திரத்தை தோண்டி எடுத்து மக்களிடம் கொண்டு போய் நியாயத்தை கேட்டு நம் பின்னால் ஒளிந்து கொண்டு நம்மையே அழிக்க நினைக்கும் இந்த அரக்கர்களை தண்டிக்க நம்மிடம் ஒரு ஆயுதம் இருக்கிறது. இதோ இந்த சினிமா. அவர்கள் மாற்ற நினைத்தாலும் யானையை யானையாகவும் புலியை புலியாகவும் காட்டும் ஒரே ஆயுதம் இந்த சினிமா. நாம் இன்றைக்கு மறித்தாலும் எத்தனை வருடங்கள் கழிந்தாலும் நமக்குண்டான நியாயத்தை அது வாங்கி கொடுக்கும். நம்மை போல எத்தனையோ ஆயிரம் காட்டுவாசிகள் உயிரையும் மலையும் காட்டையும் அது காக்கும். அந்த சினிமாவை நம்பி அதை பார்க்கும் மக்களை நம்பி இன்று நாம் அவர்களிடம் சண்டை செய்யாமல் தப்பித்து ஓடி ஒளியாமல் சந்தோஷமாக ஆடிக்கொண்டே சாவே நேரே வா வந்து பாரென சொல்வோம்.
Okay, I think it clearly tells us the power of cinema, right? Yeah. So with that, we'll get started with the table topic session. Today's TT master is Toastmaster Bharat. He's actually a software architect and then he works for Ericsson.
So as a good afternoon Toastmasters and guests. So as a table topic master, I will be facilitating the table topic sessions. For today's session, I will be inviting members and guests and I will be giving a topic which will help you. It is an opportunity to provoke your impromptu speaking skills. So before we get on to the table topic sessions, so today's sessions, I have some chits over here with numbers written on it. This is for the Toastmasters, and you can pick the gist, and the way for you to pick the gist is by rolling a dice. So I will have a dice with me, so it's just a game. So you can roll the dice, and whatever number you get, you have to choose the chit, and the topic is the topic for you. So the topics, there's a mix of all difficulty levels, easy, medium and hard. So what topic you get is based on your luck with the dice. So you don't blame the table topic master for giving you a tough topic. Okay, just give me a few seconds to set it up. And for the guest, the chits will be with the G letter. So you need not roll the dice, you can just choose the chits with the letters G written on it. Okay, so for the first, can I invite Toastmaster Sintana? So here's the dice, and so you can roll whatever number you get. You can choose the. So it's 6. Not to know is bad. Not to wish to know is worse. Not to know is bad. Not to wish to know is worse. Toastmaster Sintana.
Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. Yeah, not to know is worse. So, with this globalization, without knowing anything or without having exposure to what is happening around is worse. But if you are in a situation where you don't have the opportunity, is okay. But if you are still not willing to do, or not, if you are feeling lazy to know about things, then still you are not using the opportunity that what God has given to you. This is what the message here. Yeah. So I was, maybe I can tell about my Toastmaster thing here. So I once visited Toastmaster as a guest, this Medley Toastmaster Club as a guest in 2017. So I just got to know how to improve my public speaking skill. So I just came here as a guest, and I thought, okay, this is a platform for me to improve this. I got to know, so I just had this opportunity. But still, after a few meetings, I had a laziness. So I know all the weekends are filled with many activities with as a mother of two. But this laziness actually pulled down for not being a member. But after with lot of energy, later I've just joined this club as a member. So this perseverance came in after a long time. So I just realized, though we had lot of activities to do, lot of things to do as a mother, as a working person, if we don't do this, after getting such an opportunity, we are going to lose further. So that's what I could say here. So if you have opportunities, don't get back, just use it, only then you can grow further.
For the next table topic, can I have Toastmaster Santamina? Yes, guys. It's 2. Throw me to the wolves, I'll return leading the pack. Throw me to the wolves, I'll return leading the pack. Toastmaster Santamina.
Good afternoon, Toastmasters and fellow guests. Throw me to the wolf can be considered in any way. So for every girl getting married and then going to the in-laws house is what I can relate myself into that. So actually my mother-in-law is also a very powerful woman, and she is a multi-talented woman. So going there and getting a name was a very difficult task for me, and each and everything was taken as a test. So I found it very difficult initially, even though the education part I was better than her, but I was in no way in league with her. So every day was a challenge for me. But after a few days, so initially I had a very tough time. Then my father told, wherever you are, you have to learn to handle people. People management is what will set you apart. Then after that, I started learning, knowing things. And now, whatever I say, she will now accept that, oh, my daughter-in-law knows many things. So this is where I have went to the pack of wolves, and I have come up as a leader of that.
For the next topic, can we have Toastmaster Rema? Yes, your dice. 4. It's the more you sweat in practice, the less you bleed in battle. The more you sweat in practice, the less you bleed in battle. Toastmaster Rema.
Good evening all. So I will take this as my practice as example. So I am basically a physiotherapist. So I have been practicing for the past 20 plus years. Initial days it was not that easy. There are days I have to see some 50, 60 patients there when I attached with some hospital. So I had to see so many patients, not knowing what I'm doing. My only thing is no. I'm not accepting any of the things. Whether I know, I don't know, I'm going to see the patient, as many patients I can. Slowly I started seeing the difference in the way I approach the patients. Somebody was telling me do this, I was doing that, and started using my mind, no, something is not right. I don't want to listen to other person. Let me use my common sense and just work. It was not easy though. As I was really working hard, it was not easy to convince doctors in and around because I was attached to some hospital. it's not easy to convince them. But I really worked hard. Now, none of them are just asking me, do this, do that. They send the patient, you better take it. So that is because of the perseverance, the consistency. I was believing I can do, so it just happened. So that's it.
The next topic, and we have Toastmasters, okay. Yes or dice? 3. When the winds of change blow, some people build walls and others build windmills. When the winds of change blow, some people build walls and others build windmills. Toastmasters away.
Thank you so much for the topic. Relating this topic, life is all about challenges and surprises. So sometimes life gives us surprises where we fall down from the top. And sometimes again life gives us surprises, we rise from the bottom to the top. And sometimes we get into the challenges by our own actions. Facing the challenges, facing the problems, I feel that person becomes stronger day by day. And over the period of time, the problem which we had once, we might overcome that and we might have the control on the problem. For example, an example of an eagle. When it rains, it is the only creature which flies above the sky, and other birds, it gets wet in the night. So that is how we have to see the problem. We have to overcome it, we have to face it. We should be having that mentality to face it, and we should be having the mentality to solve it. And worrying about the problem or running away from the problem is not going to help us anymore. So either two things, we should know how to handle the problem or else stepping away from the problem. One of the book which I read like 2 years back, the book is all about secret, which is written by London Byron. There it beautifully says that we are using our most blissful thing, our brain, in attracting all the negative things. It is beautifully told that we are what we think. And we usually think about all the negative situations due to which the problems and the challenges arises. Instead, let us try to use the brain in a more positive and think about all the blissful things based on which we will be having all the blissful things and the blissful moments in our life. So either fly above the problem or either get away from the problem, have beautiful and positive thoughts based on which our life changes in a more positive and beautiful. Thank you.
For the next topic, can we have guest Dimple? You can choose one from the tags with G. One thing which you know well enough to teach others. One thing which you know well to teach others. Yes, Dimple.
Thank you. Okay, it's so difficult to think of one thing, but definitely reminds me of this topic, hitting the bullseye. So what I'm very good at right from beginning to now is to teach others how to read a book and how to apply that within their own life, So reading book is not literally the alphabets that are mentioned in the book, right, or the words or anything, but then what do you do with that book? So I mastered that art over a period of time. I'm a self-made professional. Right from my childhood to now, I come from a family who doesn't understand what I do even today. In fact, my father laughs at me. You do all this PPT presentation and you give to your boss and he will listen to you and implement, is it? I said, yes. And he says like, okay, so tell me, what is the interest of 1 lakh rupees at the rate of 2%? I said, I don't know. I quickly take a calculator and he laughs at me again. He said, you can't calculate a 2% interest and then you tell me that this PPT your MD will listen to and implement the changes. I said, yes, they do, because I am a master in my area, which is learning and development and how you read something and implement in your life. I don't know accounts, I don't know numbers, so that is when he understood. So what I teach very well is the most complex things that you can find in books can be put and chunked into simpler ways and apply it in your life. So that's what I'm good at.
The last topic, can we have guest Pranav? Oh, guest Tushar. You can choose one from the tags with G. What is the biggest change you have made in your life in the last year? What is the biggest change you have made in your life last year? Toastmaster Tushar.
Thank you to Table Talking Master. Good afternoon, friends. The biggest change I made in my life was joining Toastmasters. I joined this Toastmaster when we were meeting in Gandhinagar Club. And I joined for the love of vadas they used to serve. I don't know what they serve now, but that's the transformation that followed was immense. The impact, I cannot measure it, I cannot convey it. One thing I realized after Toastmaster, speaking up, talking to people does not kill. Before that, I used to be very scared, in the corner of a room, not asking questions. But now I boldly go, ask questions. People remember me because of that. And that's the change Toastmaster has infused in my life. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. As a last speaker, can we have guest Dimple? Sorry, Sweta. What motivates you to be your best? What motivates you to be your best? Yes, Sweta.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thing motivates which me is that somebody if challenges me that this thing you cannot do. If somebody raises a question on my competency, it helps me to reflect back what made them challenge to me that I'm not capable of doing that thing. And it lets me to self-evaluation and looking for the opportunities in my life which I can use to enhance that skill and upgrade myself. I try to see the people who are successful in that role and try to lead them, try to learn from them that what I can imbibe in myself. Thank you.
Timer, can we have the qualified table topic speakers?
The qualified table topic speakers are Toastmaster Sintana, Toastmaster Shantamina, Toastmaster Hema, Toastmaster Suhail, guest Dimple, Toastmaster Tushar.
Okay. Thank you, Timer. And I request all the members to vote for the qualified best speaker once you get the name. Over to TMO. Okay, my favorite movie was Nanban. The reason being, it is about a college life and it resonates a lot about my college life. And it has a lot of elements or message in it, right? From humor and also message like follow your passion, or it's only knowledge is important and not about degree. And so there are a lot of elements, and the way three different personalities come together and face the difficulties in life and then they have their own destination is what I like about the movie. Thank you, Timo.
That's time for us to get into evaluation. I would request you to come and take the evaluation session.
We'll come to the evaluation session of today's meeting. We had 3 speakers, we'll be having 3 evaluations. For the first evaluation, I'm going to call Distinguished Toastmaster Thomas Abraham. He is a Distinguished Toastmaster and past President of Medley and a past District PR Manager. He is a dedicated and passionate Toastmaster and mentor. He guides everyone at Medley and is always available to help. His favorite movie is The Godfather. I request you to come and evaluate Toastmaster Pushparaj's speech.
Thank you. Good afternoon once again, all my friends. An icebreaker delivered with aplomb, aptly called the roller coaster of life. Congratulations. Two objectives, like I mentioned to you. One, introduce yourself. We know that you like to be called Pushpa. I'll take care. You know you were a clever kid. You know your parents are proud of you. You know that you are a dialogue with God, of which I want to know more. You know, I know that you have a nice family of 5. Did I get it right? Yes. And you love your job. First part, fully cleared. Second part, the structure. Opening, body, conclusion. Opening, you cleverly got a question for everybody sided with you. No popular leader in the world can get that 100% voting. Very smartly thought of opening. Body, you told your story with a smile. Conclusion. Conclusion was again clever. You said Pushpa doesn't mean flower, it means fire. Everybody, I noticed everybody was smiling. I've not heard another sentence that everybody smiled for today. Except, I hope you're doing it for me. Now, I have one serious suggestion, and I have one recommendation, and I have one provocation. Provocation? Serious suggestion is, your roller coaster, its center pillar is missing. What is the center pillar of your story? Your center pillar is your dialogue with God and how everything changed. You said, take my life. Now you say, I will take care of my life. That is a major thing missing. Obviously, I don't have to say more about that. Secondly, you use, these are plus points. Your body, your hand, you smile. Your lower part, you could use. Also use a stage. 2 small suggestions. Third, you have the facility of language. You have the felicity of expressions. You should break the mold and give us a demonstration of what a speech can be. For example, in this story, you started conventionally with a question. You could go beyond. Maybe you could go into the dialogue with God, grip us, and then go for, today, with me, this topic being the movie, flashback. All in all, I loved it. I had heard you speaking alone. I was expecting it, since I know you are. And again, this is an additional point outside the speech. You have come as the best exponent of the language, and Medley stands to benefit, which you didn't claim, because which is also part of your introduction. So all in all, let me say, very well done speech. Objectives fully met. Only thing is, you can utilize your high potential to go beyond the limits that you set for yourself. Thank you.
His favorite movie is none other than the Vijay starrer Nanban, just like Master Bharat. He says this movie is played every week in his home. He is Medley's past president and a passionate learner. He is currently working on writing a winning speech for the International Speech Contest. All the best for the winning speech. Please welcome Toastmaster Venkateshan for the well-earned Toastmaster Jayashree.
A powerful weapon which can make us, which can shape us, and which can define us to be a better leader, better speaker, and better communicator. That is understanding your communication style, the communication, which is the powerful weapon. Today, Toastmaster Jayashree has plunged into and taken a step further, understanding the impact or the importance of a communication style as a leader, as a Toastmaster. Congratulations to you. 6 areas from the content and also from the delivery side, I see a positive aspects of your speech. Body, opening, the body content, and also the closing. You had a perfect story, a short story, a mini story to start with, to show us the impact of a communication style, and narrated a larger story to show us what is the importance of communication style, and you closed it with a different kind of story, a real-time story with all of us. And usually this, using understanding your communication style project, I always think it is very difficult to deliver. The reason being, it is kind of a dry area, but it needs a story to weave around and bring up that importance. And you gave us not one story, two stories, but you gave us 3 stories by which you have an impactful speech and gave us understanding about the communication style. And the impact of your communication is very crucial to learn as part of this project, and you showed us how your communication had impacted Suresh, how it has changed his decision making, how it has changed your entire product. So that is the power of communication which you have brought up through your story. From the delivery aspect, as a story narrator, you need to have 3 aspects of it, which I always feel. One is the chronology, and the other one is the characters and the context. And you had all these 3 scored positive in your speeches, all these speeches. Either it is 2014, yesterday, or real time this time, in all the places. And one of these, not only your communication style, but you also can touch upon the other communication styles. What are their importance? Where we need to use those? Use just a small acronym DISA, and you explained us what are the different situations. You took us people here in real time and explained us how it can be changed, how it can be used. Situational. It is not just I have an analytical style and I go with an analytical style every time, everywhere. It has to be situational. You brought up that as well, using that DISA story. You spoke that analytical person, I would respond like this. So that was very fantastic, and it had an impact on the audience. 2 suggestions I would have. One is the friend. You spoke about your friend who changed your decision to go back to Suresh, but you didn't share what was his communication style and how it impacted you to go to Suresh. So that would have been more authentic. And the second point is, always I have seen that in this project, we shared a communication style from our previous past before our project execution. If you could share something that has happened post your learning, that would have been more impactful and authentic. To summarize, it was a wonderful speech, and I appreciate that you have understood the importance of communication style. Thank you.
He has been with Medley since 2019. He is currently back after a brief break in 2023. He is a data scientist and functional head of finance for a multinational company. His favorite movie is the big budget action movie Bahubali. I invited Toastmaster Shankar to come and give his evaluation report. Toastmaster Ram.
Thank you, Dee. We were privileged to witness a speech that not only provoked the audience and touches the heart, but ignites the spark with all of us. Fellow Toastmaster and honorable guest, good afternoon. First of all, setting up the context, it's the very key for any speech, because know your audience. If anyone goes to any of the colleges, or let's say for corporate life, we know the type of audience, what type of audience it comes. I see that in a lot of spaces, lot of places where your involvement, it is very relevant, and it communicated with everyone, I would say that. And third very important thing on the foundations. Foundation is the key for, especially with that bullseye, because I see that most of the places you are using with the bullseye, the specific phrase throughout the speech. It's not easy when you connect by the end, and good engagement as well as by usage with the props. That's the brilliant which I want to compliment. Probably what are the areas which you can improve? One is that I see that engaging with the audience. First time when you see about the Revati Shankaran, I see that there was no response from the audience. Probably after that you had used some of the famous personality, probably with Sujata or Kamalakasan. Probably you can ask the questions with them, what about the Sujata famous? That one connect with the audience, because this speech it's talk about inspire with audience. And second very important thing is that this whole pathway, it's talk about engaging the humor. Yes, you touched upon with engaging the humor with Imsai Arasan 23 Pulikesi, but that's spotted my mind probably a fraction of seconds. Since this is the pathway, everything it is about the engaging with the humor, probably you could have speak more and narrate more about bringing the humor. Overall summary, I was completely enjoyed about your speech, but only 2 recommendations on this. If at all, if you do the next speech, that would be the amazing speech. Over to you.
Do we have the qualified evaluators?
Qualified evaluators are distinguished Toastmaster Thomas Abraham, Toastmaster Shankar.
Please vote for the qualified for the best evaluator. We will move on to the tag teams report. Okay, I invite Toastmaster Prada to give her timer report.
Thank you, G. Very good evening to one and all once again. Today's meeting provoked my concentration ability, carefully coordinating with my stopwatch, agenda and the timer guides. The time allotted for the presiding officer was 6 minutes. She took 6 minutes 22 seconds. The total time allotted so far for the TMOD was 8 minutes. He took 9 minutes 20 seconds. The time allotted for GE was 8 minutes. She took 7 minutes 14 seconds. The time allotted for the educational speaker was 30 minutes. He took 34 minutes 40 seconds. Speech 1 by Toastmaster Pushparajan. He took 5 minutes 41 seconds. Second speaker, Toastmaster Jayashree, took 6 minutes 39 seconds. Third speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Sundar Raman, took 6 minutes 46 seconds. Table topic speaker, Toastmaster Sintana, took 2 minutes 20 seconds. Toastmaster Shantamina took 1 minute 18 seconds. Toastmaster Hema took 1 minute 33 seconds. Toastmaster Suhail took 1 minute 55 seconds. Guest Dimple took 1 minute 40 seconds. Toastmaster Tusha took 1 minute 12 seconds. Guest Sweta took 48 seconds. Evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Thomas T. Abraham took 3 minutes 6 seconds. Toastmaster Venkateshan took 3 minutes 40 seconds. Toastmaster Shankar took 2 minutes 32 seconds. Over to you.
Toastmaster Shanmugavel will now present the account report.
Good afternoon once again. First, our second account, Toastmaster Pramod. Even though he is a first person, only one pass, except very clear speech. Then our president, Prasanavani, clear speech. Then our DM body, TM Dinagara, few are and here. Then our general evaluator, Amidavali, clear speech. Then Toastmaster Pravda, few Then our Toastmaster Kalyani, clear speech. Then TTM Partha, clear speech. Then icebreaker speech, roller coaster, it was nice. TM Pusparajan, he has used the word I many times. And so 3 times. Then his evaluator TTM Thomas Abraham, clear speech. Then Toastmaster JJ, clear speech. And her evaluator Toastmaster Venkateshan, he has used the word repeated and few are. Then Toastmaster Sundar Raman, clear speech. And his evaluator Toastmaster Sundar, few are and few but. Then Toastmaster Bharat, table topic master, clear speech. In case of table topic, Toastmaster Sindana, few filler sounds like in US used, and she has also repeated so and but. And Toastmaster Santa Moana, her talk was provoked many people.
CS also used some skill word and the CS used many times so and but. Then Toastmaster Hammer used few and so. Then Toastmaster Suhail. It was a clear speech even though he has used few Then test Temple. Few and so. Then test Tusa, clear speech. Test Sweda, CS used few Thank you.
And finally, for the grammarian report, Toastmaster grammarian.
Good evening once again. I thank Toastmaster Jayashree, DTM Sundarajan, DTM Thomas, and Toastmaster Shankar, Toastmaster Bharat, Toastmaster Shanmugabe, Toastmaster Prouda for using the word of the day program. There were so many takeaways from the education session. Of course, some of them like it, the triads, like it, share it, subscribe it, get set and go, came, saw and conquered, reverberating lines. Then from the speaker, TM Pushparajan, went into a shell, linguistics, stop smoking in 3 days. Toastmaster Jayashree, soul searching, ups and downs, gear up, right fit, outreach, work banders. Distinguished Toastmaster Sundaraman, origami, jack of all trades, master of none, polymath, culinary expert, contemplating, bullseye, metamorphical message. And one correction is, a few of them used few meetings. It's actually when you use just few, it means nothing. We have to use a few meetings, a few numbers like that. Then only it sounds something, like it has some numbers. Okay.
So we can cast a vote for the best tag role player. And I'll be presenting my generally evaluated report now. The session was started on time, and even before the session started, the agenda was published well ahead of time. All the speakers, the evaluators, the role players, and any additional education sessions, etc. were well published ahead of time around Wednesday or Thursday. That was a good thing. The equipment and room was available. It was already all set up ready for the meeting. I noticed that the guests were welcomed and they were instructed on what is going to happen, and some instructions were given. That was a good thing. Then we had the opening address by President Prasanna Mani. She introduced a nice story about the secret of success. Her message was very inspirational. After that, we had the TMOD's theme of the day. It was a very interesting theme, and everybody had a chance to talk about their favorite movie. I think it was very enjoyable. He also presented a beautiful collage of the big movers and shakers in the Indian movie industry, and so everybody had an opportunity to think about it and talk about it. That was really nice. And one of the things was he discussed the impact movies have on society and culture. That was very thought-provoking. Next, we had the education session, and it was very useful and very practical. A lot of practical tips were provided, and there was a detailed list of steps that you need to follow to prepare a speech for the IAC. And he had a lot of tips about how to use the similes and alliterations. And a lot of question and answer session also happened. With regard to table topics, I think the table topics master made it like a very neutral thing with having the rolling the dice and picking the numbers so that there is no, it's all very neutral and depending on what topic you get. So that was a good idea. Guests were invited to speak for the table topics. That is a very good idea. They won't have an experience of coming and speaking at the stage, and it's very important for them to come and have that opportunity, especially if they're coming for just 1 or 2 sessions. And one of the recommendations I have is usually we have the photos of every speaker and what is the proceeding, how the meeting is going, and I think today we didn't have that. I don't know if this was on purpose or it was missed. So it gives an opportunity for people who have not attended the meeting to know what is happening, and then it also induces them to not miss the meeting the next time. So I think we should have followed that. Other than that, it's been a very enjoyable meeting, and things have been running on time. So I had a very good time. I hope you all enjoyed the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dee, for wonderfully running the evaluation session. Friends, now we are nearing the end of the meeting. It is time for us to vote for the role player between TMD myself and then the GE Amit Ali and then the TD Master Bharat. You can vote for the best role player. So to conclude, movies, right? More than anything, I also take this as an inspirational tool. There are a lot of inspirational movies with messages and quotes and everything. So let's all enjoy movies and have fun. So with that, I will hand it over to presiding officer Toastmaster Prasanna Vani.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dinakaran. Kudos to all the role players and the speakers who made it a wonderful meeting today. I would like to call Toastmaster Pushparajan to please come forward. We have this traditional medley where we celebrate the icebreaker speech of every member. Please have your seat. I request all of you to kindly stand up. Just let's clap for Pushparajan. This event for you. Thank you. Please take your seat. Let's now see who are the winners of today's meeting. The best speaker goes to distinguished Toastmaster Sundaram. The best evaluator goes to distinguished Toastmaster Thomas P. Abraham. The best table topic speakers are guest Dimple. Role player goes to Toastmaster Kalyani. And the best role player goes to Toastmaster Dinakaran. Coming to the announcements for the next week, we have a table topics practice session, and the week after that is a much awaited international speech contest and table topic contest. Guests kindly join our guest group to be updated on this events coming up. At the end of this meeting, we will also have a milestone chair who would like to meet all the captains of the various committees which we have drafted. So please do join us and be a part of this great event. Thank you all for joining. With this, we adjourn this meeting number 769.